half-day seminar on GST and Companies Act 2013. May I request the chairman to please welcome today's speaker, CA.A.Jatin Christopher sir, and please hand over, escort CA.A.Jatin Christopher sir, and please hand over a floral bouquet to him. Thank you, Chairman. Now we start with the technical session. It's a privilege for me to introduce C.A.Jatin Christopher sir. Jatin Christopher sir is a chartered accountant, cost accountant, a law graduate. He qualified in 1996 and specialized in indirect taxes. He is a resource person for the Institute in various post-qualification programs on indirect taxation and extended support to ICA in publication of educational and research material by ICA on various indirect tax topics. He is also a resource person for the government in conducting training for practitioners, trade and officers. He has been in practice since 2000 as a partner of JCS, a full-service firm with presence across India. That was his short introduction. So, the rise belongs to you.
Good afternoon, friends. This is my first time attending an investiture ceremony, and I'm very happy to see the proceedings, and it was completely by chance. I came in a little bit early, and I was asked to come in and be part of this. It's definitely a privilege because these are important days and occasions where people from the profession choose to take time off their work, offices, not stay selfish like people like us who only want to be in the office, come in here and give their time for the benefit of members. So therefore, I think it's our responsibility as the people who did not take this initiative to definitely be available to help and contribute in any way we can, either as speakers and most importantly as participants in programs that come up throughout this term of the new committee. We've been attending several programs on GST. So when we talk about what is it that we need to still speak about GST in 2025, there were certain important things. So therefore, I didn't describe in great detail what exactly we are going to talk about. I think some significant things that have happened in GST needs to be brought to the attention of members in practice, who are in industry, across the board, because somehow there is this perception that there are, when the credentials were read, they said he's been in practice since 2000. You know, a lot of what I did went away in 2017. All right, so excise went away, service tax went away, VAT went away. So in that sense, I suppose no one can claim more than 7.5 years of experience in GST, all right? But some very important things have taken place in GST in the last 7.5 years. A few things to bring to your attention. One is the dominance of technology in the implementation of this law is unprecedented. There are people who have uploaded the returns and never filed it, and therefore their claims to input credit vanished, and so on. There are the kinds of mistakes that we used to make, you can't make anymore because there are various steps in validation of filing returns online. So one thing I will bring for your consideration is, please don't think that GST is too complicated for anyone to practice in. I recently found myself writing down what are all the areas of work that exist as far as GST practice, GST litigation practice is concerned. And I found, to my own surprise, all skills needed don't exist in one person. But everyone tries to work on all things required to carry out the work. So I'll take GST litigation as an example and sort of elaborate a little more to bring, before we get into what is the outlook for GST. See, there is one role for a person who is able to be the face of, to be the first responder as far as any taxpayer facing a notice is concerned. Then someone needs to read the notice, someone needs to understand what is going on and be able to explain what is currently going on and what is yet to take place. The reason why this is important is because all notices don't need the same kind of response. I had someone call me during some seminar. They called 3 or 4 times. When I saw during the tea break that I had missed a few calls from the same person, I called back and he said, I have got a notice and it is from Central GST Department. I have got a notice. I said, under which section have they issued this notice? Adala gottilla, cover open madilla. He has not opened the envelope to read what that notice is all about, so he decided to call me straight away. I know some friends take those liberties and it's welcome. I said, first you open the, no, phone it put badan. I said, I won't disconnect the line. You please see what is this notice. Let's see what's going. He opened the envelope and it said ADT 1, notice to commence audit. It's a notice that they plan to commence audit in the near future. That's all there is. There is no notice, there is no demand, there is no such thing. People are so petrified at the when they see a brown envelope that they have switched, the government has switched to white envelope. Technology is going to play a very significant role, and people who have practiced in the earlier tax regime will have a big challenge adopting to the extent of technology that is used in GST. You know, appeals have to be filed online, hearings are posted online, hopefully hearings will also be conducted online, at least center is doing it, but state will also hopefully switch to virtual hearing. To be able to have mastery over the way the portal functions is the next area where I think there is enormous. There is a car, the number is CA.A.Jatin MG8564. If there's anyone here who recognizes this car number, please go and do something about your car. They're taking it away. And they'll give you a new car. Sorry? Yes, on written down value. So therefore, young people who more easily take to technology have this opportunity straight away to understand how this portal functions and the various functionalities around this portal, because it's not necessary that everything involved in GST litigation the same person needs to do. There is one person who will possibly decide how this needs to be dealt with, but another person definitely is needed to help put that through this portal to be able to get the results that we require. There are 2 areas that are tremendously important. One is drafting, the other is presenting the matter before whichever forum. So please don't, chartered accountants are very ready to make disparaging comments about themselves. I don't know, I am not good at this, I only got 52. 52 is, we know it's enough. We make disparaging comments saying that we are not good enough, we don't know how to do things, please go and if you can make time, sit in the tribunal, service tax tribunal if you can. You'll get so encouraged because there are so many people who know so much, so lot lesser, who are able to make a good career out of litigation practice for themselves. So why not chartered accountant? So please come out of this frame of mind where we think we're not good enough to be able to handle GST matters. There are various parts. I have identified 5 areas. 5 areas. There's one that deals with a client-facing role. There's another that deals with the department-facing role. And there are 3 others that are completely internal in an office, where you look at the online functionalities, you look at coming up with the plan, how to deal with this issue. The third is to deal with the drafting, because GST, everything has to be in writing. I know the officer, he is from my village. Those days are all gone. Those days are all gone. So therefore, please see what is the area of work that you are best suited to handle, and deeply entrench yourself in that area. As you add more skills, you will keep adding additional areas of work to get into. As regards the outlook itself of GST is concerned, now with the introduction of 36(4)(b) from 110(22), I would think even 110(22) was like a watershed moment in GST after July 17, because some very significant things took place on this date. Everything that a taxpayer claims must flow through the portal. All right, this was the date when the relevant rules were also notified to make it happen. So therefore, today we are dealing with matters prior to 1920 to some extent, but 2021 onwards. I'll give you a few instances as to highlight why this is so important. Let's say there is someone who's entitled to input credit of 100 and they are not entitled to 30 out of this 100. From 110(22), it is mandatory to claim the entire 100 as credit and reverse 30. Which means prior to 110(22), which are the years we are currently disputed in, you can do 2 things. You can either claim 100 and reverse 30, or you can claim 70 and reverse nothing. Now, department needs to identify which of the 2 methods you have opted for to be able to raise a demand. Department cannot simply come and say, you have an exempt turnover, therefore you are liable to reverse proportionate credit. To even reverse proportionate credit, proportionate reversal is necessary only for common credits. It's not necessary for all credits. So you can imagine the defense opportunity that is available for demands up to 110(22). In fact, the functionality for this amendment in the rules was actually implemented from 31st August 23. So in a sense, although the rule is there, since the portal is not operational, you can take these same views subsequently also. Friends, I only highlight this as an example to tell you, you need to know the rule relevant to the disputed tax period. Today we understand what the current rule is, but this is not the rule that day. 2012 service tax book, it used to come in 2 volumes written by S.S. Gupta sir. 2 volumes, it used to be some 1200 rupees, 2 volumes in 2012. Today, if you have to get that book, because you have some matter coming up in the tribunal relating to service tax, what is the price of that book? In the grey market, I believe it costs 25,000 rupees. Because you can't buy that book at 1200 rupees today. So whoever has bought it, the book must have dog ears, but still that book is valuable because all the relevant notifications are all in one place. Because the portal of the government has all the information, but you don't know where. So please consider which is the relevant rule while dealing with the dispute at hand, because taxpayer, tax professional and tax officer all are viewing disputes from the current rule standpoint and not the rule as it then was. So please be very careful. The next issue that chartered accountants need to very urgently come to terms with is the question of jurisdiction. We have no clue of jurisdiction. If we get a GST notice from Rajkot, we will send a reply. If it's a notice, then I have to reply, because right from inter and final days, I know so many things. Questions are not sufficient to expose my knowledge. So we will write whether the question is right or wrong, whether the answer is relevant to that question or not, right? How many are used to taking extra answer paper? It's all right, please raise your hand. Yes, see, the entire booklet is sufficient, but no, not sufficient for me. I need extra because I have so much to write. Please be very careful. We need to understand the concept of jurisdiction. I will give you 3 examples to highlight this concept of jurisdiction. Audit was conducted for 2021. Show cause notice issued stating that the refund that you have been sanctioned is erroneous. Audit for 2021, refund sanctioned, found to be erroneous, and show cause notice issued. In the reply to show cause notice, the chartered accountant informed the department saying that 2021 is the year for which you have assignment, as it is called, to conduct audit. 2021 refund cannot be filed in 2021. 2021 refund can be filed in 21-22 or 22-23. Whether the refund is right or not comes to light only on the date of sanction of refund and not prior to sanction of refund. The refund is erroneous. The refund becomes an erroneous refund only on the date of sanction of refund, which is 21-22 or later. Therefore, in 2021 audit assignment, you could never have raised this issue. So the officer was taken aback. He said, my colleague in the next cabin is doing 21-22 audit. I will inform him to raise this issue in 21-22. So he was told that no, already this issue exists in a show cause notice. Until this issue is dropped by an order, he cannot issue another show cause notice. But to issue a notice for 21-22, time is ticking away. How quickly are you able to drop this? So the demand got dropped in both years. 2021, the demand could not be raised. 21-22, they did not raise because it was already occupied in the previous year. Jurisdiction is very important. There are 3 aspects to jurisdiction. One is a territorial jurisdiction. The other is a subject matter jurisdiction. The third is the financial year for which jurisdiction is conferred. So please be very careful. So far in many of our conferences, seminars, I've been asking chartered accountants to be aware of which is the provision under which any proceeding is being initiated. Now I will ask you to add to that which is the financial year for which the issue is being raised. Second example I will bring to you for your consideration is the jurisdictional proper officer. That is, in central excise terms, it's called the range office. And in state terminology, it's called the LVO, LGSTO, the office that grants registration. A show cause notice came to be issued stating that the refund that was sanctioned was erroneous. Assessee decided to contest this demand. Assessee was advised not to file a reply. Assessee was advised not to file a reply. CA final student, be very careful. Not filing a reply is part of the plan. It's not that you will answer everything. The plan was to not file a reply. Ex parte order came to be passed, obviously confirming the demand. In appeal, the question that was raised was, the show cause notice was without jurisdiction. Why was it without jurisdiction? Assessee has not introduced new information. Department has not initiated audit or investigation. How then a refund that was sanctioned came to be decided to be erroneous? Which means the range office, the officer who sanctioned the refund with no new proceeding, with no new information, decided to go back and take a second look at the same file, and then discovered that there was something amiss in the notice, so he issued a show cause notice. The procedure is that if the decision taken by an officer is found to be erroneous, departmental appeal has to be filed within 6 months, 1 month condonation allowed. This show cause notice was issued 1.5 years later. So in appeal, the issue that was raised was department has failed the time limit to file departmental appeal, therefore mischievously they have issued a show cause notice without any new information. This amounts to exercising power of review. The officer who did his job does not have the power to go back and redo that job. Then there is no time, there is no limit to this. They will keep on looking at the files unless a different underlying proceeding is initiated. So therefore, in appeal, when the jurisdiction question was raised, the appellate authority has to reach a finding. Does this show cause notice and consequent order amount to exercising power of review? Appeal came to be allowed, entire demand set aside. No, but what was the refund? It is not relevant. It is not relevant for us to go into what was the issue. Third example I will give you is enforcement came in, did an inspection. They found something not all right, so they issued a confidential inspection report. As you know, both center and state are demarcated as far as enforcement functions are concerned. Anti-evasion, preventive, and intelligence are the 3 wings in central taxes. Enforcement and vigilance are the 2 wings in the State Department. Enforcement came in, did some inspection, found something was not all right. They issued an inspection report. DCCT audit issued a show cause notice stating, I have received an inspection report which contains following observations. Therefore, based on these observations, you are hereby directed to show cause why so and so should not be done. The assessee filed a short reply. Dear sir, please give me ADT2 copy. Please, what is ADT2? When an audit is initiated, I told you about that friend who called, that is ADT1 to commence audit, 65.1. Once audit is commenced and some observations reached, Rule 101.4 says that the observations must be notified to the taxpayer to get their response whether they agree to discharge the liability or not. After taking into account their response, an audit report has to be finalized under rules under section 65.6. Now 65.7 says, if the findings in the audit are not accepted by the taxpayer and demand discharged, then the officer should issue show cause notice under 73.7. So DCCT audit has jurisdiction to issue notice under 73-74 only after concluding audit. For a DCCT audit to issue a show cause notice based on inspection report amounts to acting on borrowed satisfaction. If the audit officer is acting on borrowed satisfaction, then the proceeding under 67 is still continuing, which means the enforcement officer is continuing to do his duties through the instrumentality of the audit officer. If he has not done the audit inspection, then audit officer is acting under dictation. So please give me copy of ADT2, response received, audit not conducted. If audit is not conducted, please decide what he wants to do. He put up the file before Joint Commissioner and they withdrew the show cause notice. Friends, we need to grasp the contours of jurisdiction. What happens when, who can do it? There are any number of examples we can identify regarding the question of jurisdiction, but if we first find out which is a section under which notice is issued under 73 or 74, that is not the problem. But the notice, the underlying proceedings giving rise to the notice is important. Secondly, whichever proceeding they have initiated, within that provision, did they have territorial jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction, and assignment for that relevant financial year? These things are extremely important because What CIT versus Purunmal says is that illegally collected evidence can also be relied upon by revenue, but unofficially collected evidence can never be relied upon. So therefore, it is very important. Third aspect, there's a tendency to offer more than statutorily necessary amount of cooperation in departmental proceedings. It is our responsibility to assist an officer in getting the information, but which is a section under which they are calling for information. In 61, when they can scrutinize returns, they can't call for any information. In 65, they can call for information, but they can't outsource the audit to the taxpayer. You do this reconciliation, you prepare this, you calculate, but we are used to it. We are used to it because we have got an assignment from the client. So therefore, ये नहीं करेंगे तो क्या करेंगे? यही तो है audit. Third, enforcement under 67 can only look into evasion of tax. They can't look into anything else. So, friends, the question is, what are they doing? Is it scrutiny of returns? Then it cannot extend into audit. Is it audit? Then it has to be only verification of contemporaneous data. And if it is enforcement, it cannot do audit. It can only be relating to evasion of tax. The reason why these things are necessary is because Parliament believes the taxpayer more than tax administrator. Parliament says in section 59, every registered person shall self-assess the tax payable under this act and discharge the same in the returns filed under section 39. So therefore, it is for the taxpayer to do his assessment. Now self-assessment needs to be understood as truthful self-assessment versus accurate self-assessment. Taxpayer needs to be confident about the self-assessment done truthfully. Taxpayers obviously will take first opinion, second opinion, confer with their friends before they decide what they will do. It's only chartered accountants who are interested in accuracy of interpretation. Taxpayers don't care about it. Someone asked his client saying that, look, the branch is conducting a seminar on GST, some amendments. Why don't you come and join? It will be good for you to know these things. He said, sir, I don't have any doubts about GST. If you have doubt, you go and attend. I am very clear. I won't pay more than what everyone else in my industry are paying. If nobody is paying, if everybody is paying, if everybody is claiming credit on construction of immovable property, I will also claim. You are the only person saying don't claim. Supreme Court, amendment, retrospective, prospective, that is your problem. I will claim credit. Look at this building, sir, it is a plant. Huh? So therefore, please bear in mind, taxpayers are unmindful of the way this law is going to, the positions of law need to be implemented, and if it comes to a notice, how defense needs to be advanced. So therefore, please consider, when you look at any issue, when any proceeding is initiated, whether it is an A7010, an ADT2, whether it is an INS1, when any proceeding is initiated, let me ask you this question. Can you tell whether this is serious or not serious? I'll give a small analogy. They're shifting furniture in the office and somebody lands a table on your toe. All right? It's hurting. First thing is you will go and get some ice. You'll do something. You look at your toe. It is red color. Serious? Not serious. Serious. It is swollen like a tennis ball. Serious? Not serious. You don't bother to go to Jain hospital. You're still self-medication variety. You're continuing, you're trying to do something with iodex. Next morning, it is now become purple color. You will go, you will not go. A field that you have no training in, you know how to decide serious, non-serious. Why in GST you are neglecting? When you get a notice, when they raise an issue, can you say whether it is serious or not serious? It is not about who is the officer. It is not about the who is the officer. It is not even about whether you know the officer personally. when an issue is being agitated, can you tell where this will get resolved? Can you say that if you give explanation, it will get resolved? Can you say if you give an explanation, the purpose of seeking explanation is not to drop the demand, but to strengthen the notice? How many have found that the explanation that you submitted to the department found its way into the show cause notice itself? I'll give an example. A chartered accountant from Bangalore, I've spoken to him about this also. I saw a show cause notice with case law references. I have seen orders without case law. There are orders passed without any case law. I saw a show cause notice which had case law. So I asked the taxpayer saying, what's going on? He said, audit party came and made an observation. They gave an audit report. So we submitted a detailed objection. So I went to so-and-so and I asked them to give a detailed reply. So they gave a 50-page reply. They gave a 50-page reply. I submitted to the department. I don't know why they gave this show cause notice, sir. Exactly 53 pages is show cause notice. The letterhead and the closing courtesies they have removed. 5 pages of their own information they have added. All the information they needed is the HSN code, time of supply, place of supply, valuation. Everything is there in the show cause notice. Are we, in our enthusiasm, to show the client how brilliant our earlier opinion was, are we damaging the case by prematurely offering defense that should be issued after the show cause notice comes, much before the show cause notice is even conceived? Who's responsible for this? I've seen orders being issued saying that this demand has to be discharged. I'm very concerned when I see orders confirming demand. I look for whether the reply to the notice contained admission of wrongdoing. See, when a notice is issued that some service tax, GST, or something is payable, look at the reply. The reply says, this transaction is not liable to GST. When you say something is not liable to GST, are you saying you have paid that GST or are you saying you have not paid that GST? In the reply, refuting the allegation contains admission of non-payment of tax. Nothing further is required. 3 things I will bring to your attention. Non-taxability, burden of proof is on the assessee. Claim of exemption, burden of proof is on the assessee. Claim that there is no suppression, burden of proof lies on the assessee. You understand? So therefore, please be vigilant regarding the approach to a reply. In GST, we will no longer have notices based on data differences. Something is not matching with something. If something is not matching with something, that is an indication of a bona fide business. If everything is matching with everything, then that is the business that you read about in the newspaper, that someone got arrested. Someone said he's starting a new factory. So the consultant asked him, so what are you going to manufacture in your new factory? Invoices, sir. What is the purpose of manufacturing anything else, sir? Highly lucrative, sir. We are manufacturing invoices. Those are the businesses where everything is matching. If it's not matching, it should not match. Why? Because time of supply is not according to revenue recognition. And then there is ICDS. It should not match. If it matches, there's a problem. If it doesn't match, you have an explanation. So therefore, we won't have notices based on data differences. We will have notices based on alternate interpretation. What is alternate interpretation? Whatever tax you have paid, thank you very much. That's not enough. We want to tax some more. There is a owner of an immovable property living in Bangalore, the property is in Hyderabad, tenant is in Hyderabad. He issues an invoice with IGST. GST department here says, if you are paying tax under HSN 9972, you can never charge IGST, it has to be CGST, SGST. Who's issuing this? Range office is issuing. Under, what is the underlying proceeding? Deepak, if the range office is issuing a show cause notice, under what section are they conducting the underlying proceeding? Correct, 61. They have not done audit, they have not done enforcement, the range is issuing. Under 61, how can you decide place of supply? You need information, you need explanation, you need to apply your mind. It's not a discrepancy arising out of the return. It is a suspicion introduced into the returns. So therefore, they don't have jurisdiction. Second, if the property is in Hyderabad, should the landlord travel to Hyderabad to hand over the property to the tenant, or can he sign the lease agreement sitting in Bangalore? Send his representative for the registration? Possible. So therefore, alternate interpretation. You paid IGST, please pay C&S. You pay C&S, please pay IGST. You paid 5 without ITC, you have to pay 12 with ITC. ITC you can't claim now. Second example I will give you. Passenger transport service, classifiable 9964 or 9966. 5% without ITC, 12% with ITC. Take an example. Assessee has paid 5% tax, claimed ITC. Why? Everyone is doing. Didn't someone tell you not to do? Deepak told me not to do it. He gave a written opinion also. I took the opinion. His fee is also pending. His opinion also pending. Because I'm not following his opinion, why should I pay him? If I followed I took his opinion just to know to see if he knows. Deepak has given very clearly. 9964, 9965, 8, serial number 9, 5% without credit, 12% with credit, all of those things. Assessee has paid 5%, taken credit. Now, please be very careful. What should the department demand? Should they demand reversal of 12% because you are paying 5%, or because you have taken ITC on the capital goods, should they demand 7% tax? Don't give answer. Told you. If the answer is long, it's most likely wrong. If it comes fast, that is also wrong. If they demand 7%, they should have demanded ITC reversal. If they demanded ITC reversal, they should have demanded alternate interpretation is possible in GST. Notices will be issued because alternate interpretation is possible, and we don't know how to defend a notice. We think parading our innocence will get us justice. There are no caretakers of justice in GST. Follow the procedure, justice will take care of itself. Follow the procedure. I'm giving some names just for discussion, not referring to any organization. Indian Railways purchases Coca-Cola beverage. What is the rate of GST? 40%, 28% plus 12% cess. Indian Railways, let us say, sells it to a passenger traveling in Shatabdi. What is the rate of tax? 5%. How did goods become service? In central excise, we understand that if there is a manufacture, change in the classification is possible. But here, without manufacture, they didn't do anything. I mean, they should not do anything if it has to be saleable. If they do something, it will no longer be saleable. So therefore, please consider, should they charge 40% or should they pay 5%? If you buy a cake from a pastry shop, is it 18% because it has cocoa in it, or is it 5% because it is food and drink for human consumption? Please keep in mind, 12 or 18% is with ITC, 5% is without ITC. A credit-hungry trade will opt to pay a higher rate of tax to save the credit than the correct rate of tax because there is no ITC. You understand? What's the difference between a restaurant and a bakery? We had this officers training. from Central GST, the training going on. So we asked the officers the same questions. What is the difference between a restaurant and a bakery? So the one lady officer said, restaurant is where you sit and eat. And before she completed a sentence, another gentleman, he said, oh, bakery is where you stand and eat. You understand? Both of them supply food and drink for human consumption. When you are supplying food and drink for human consumption, para 6B of Schedule 2 says it's a service, it can't be goods. You see in Bangalore, there are a few hundred crores worth of demand being raised in Bangalore to pastry shops saying that you have to pay 18% tax and not 5% tax. Why? Alternate interpretation. We can keep going on like this, looking at a variety of examples to see alternate interpretation. My question to you is it possible to canvass an alternate interpretation in spite of you having complied with the law truthfully in self-assessment? Yes, it's possible. So my submission in 2025, I think we need to critically review taxpayers' self-assessment to recognize what mischievous ways you can interpret the facts and apply the law to raise a new demand. No surprises, I think, should be the theme of 2025, because if any notice arrives and we are surprised by it, I think the fault lies in us. How could we not have seen the possibility that something that is so straightforward can also be interpreted the way it is being interpreted? What are the odds? What's the success rate of the government in litigation, in tax litigation, under the earlier tax regime? What do you think is the probability that government will win the case? Any guesses? 30%? Any other guess? Any other guess? While introducing that Sabka Vishwas, the dispute resolution scheme, Finance Minister made a statement in the floor of the House saying government has a 15% chance of success, which means you have a 85% chance of winning a case, but you are not even litigating. We are used to giving reconciliation. And the blame is, and this is something that I will fault fellow professionals, they say, client does not want to litigate. Client is not interested. They use an expression. When I go to other cities, I hear this expression, especially where it's predominantly Hindi speaking, they say, sir, settle karke aao. I don't know what it means. I told him in Bangalore, this expression is unheard of. You seem to be smiling, you know what it means? I'm sure you don't know what it means. You have to give information to show your innocence. Please bear in mind, in GST, the responsibility is not to prove your innocence. So two things I will state. Notice, the purpose of a notice is to canvass an alternate interpretation. That's all. Jeetna bhi nahi hai. The idea is not even to win. If it has a 15% chance of success, and that 15% chance will improve because you will only give detailed reply. What is required, what is not required, explaining in days, all that we will only do. We know, so extra answer paper lene wale bacche, when they get into practice, this is what happens. So when you identify, purpose of a notice is to canvass an alternate interpretation. Purpose of a reply is to disclose the stand you are taking in the matter. Reply is not to justify what you have done. Sir, you don't understand? I will explain. Sir, you don't know, sir, how many reconciliations I know how to make. During articleship itself, I was such an expert. Now I have qualified. I have done that artificial intelligence course also. Hello, sir? I can do reconciliation faster. During articleship, I didn't know. I am CA Foundation. So therefore, I am not even graduate. Already I finished inter also. I have reconciled debtors with creditors, sir. My partner was shocked. Why? It tallied. That is my talent to do reconciliation. Later only I realized it is debtors and creditors should not do, so I quietly removed all those working papers. Otherwise it had matched also. We will do the Reply is not to parade your innocence or to complete the incomplete investigation. If you take nothing back from this evening, please take these things back. Whenever the final version of the reply is ready and you're about to submit, ask yourself how much of original creativity you have poured into this piece of art. If you have lot of original creativity, please take that and tear it and throw it away, please. Don't file reply. Reply is to disclose the stand you are taking in the matter. What is the stand you are taking in the matter? Normally only two things. I dispute the demand. When you dispute the demand, it becomes an undisputed demand. If you don't dispute it, it becomes an undisputed arrear. First, I dispute the demand. Second, I reject the allegation. What is the allegation you reject? Whatever you are making, sir, everything I am rejecting, sir. Whatever you are saying, I am rejecting. No, but why you are rejecting? That doesn't matter, sir. When I reject, now you have to explain why I should accept. Reject. Beyond this, I failed to see what else you want to write in a reply. So I asked a very senior chartered accountant about his assessment of this problem. Why is this problem? The length of the, why are our replies 20 pages long, 50 pages long? How many have written more than 20-page replies? Please raise your hand. In this room, we can confidently expose ourselves. You're all vulnerable. How many have written 20-page replies? Please raise your hand. 1.5. Another half. Another half. 4 gentlemen. Nobody else. How many have written 50 pages? No. I have seen 200-page replies. Please tell me. How many have attached entire case law into the reply? Tell me. Entire case law. Not only the operative para. Full. How many have written opinion with entire act attached? Tell me. Okay, the section 7 is extracted. 7, 9, first schedule, third schedule. Come, correct, Deepak? Yeah. Take book and enclose it. We buy 200 new copies of Bare Act. Why? Why do you need so many? All of you are reading. No. It goes along with opinion. A reply is a disclosure of the stand I am taking in the matter of the show cause notice. I reject, I dispute the demand, I reject the allegation. Anything else, I don't understand. See, the issue why I am bringing this to your, I am giving emphasis here is because we are the kind of people who have studied for 3 years without any college. We are so proud of it that we are the kind of people who know how to find a mistake in the question. Correct, no? In accounts, question number 7, the salary to partner C was wrong. And how do you show that you have found the mistake? You will solve the question with that answer, with that information, arrive at an impossible outcome. Then you say, therefore, the salary to C is not 51,000, it is 15,000, and then proceed to answer. Because 3 years is more than enough. 3 hours is more than enough for us to write all the 12 questions and say, you correct in the choice. Choice for you to correct. I won't use the choice and answer. I will answer everything. Whichever you want to correct, you please. That is the kind of people we are. Please be extremely careful. In our reply resides admission of the allegation. No further proof required to be adduced by revenue when you yourself have not disputed the allegation. The reason why I say this is twofold. One, all favorable orders, department can go in appeal. Favorable orders where department has not gone in appeal, they can revise it under 108. Time to file appeal, 6 months. Time to revise, 3 years. So if you get a favorable order, I got a favorable order, very small value, 7 lakhs of rupees. Some poor taxpayer had got an aggressive demand. Small relief he wanted, 7 lakhs was allowed. That 7 lakhs demand was picked up for revision in 108 to say why this demand should not be set aside and the original order should not be restored. Friends, please be very careful. Department will do everything possible to save the demand. Even after exposing it, everything possible will be done to save that demand with assistance of the taxpayer's consultant. Assistance will come from the taxpayer's consultant. So there was an appeal hearing here in Bangalore. During appeal, there was a mysterious show cause notice. Nobody knew what they were trying to tax. Ex parte order carried in appeal. The unintelligible nature of the notice was brought out in the grounds. Appellate authority said, what is this? How can they pass orders like this? Completely wrong. I agree with you. Okay, sir. So you drop the demand. You bring the books of accounts, I will verify what it is. Said appellate authority is not a adjudicating authority. Appeal is not to redo the adjudication. Whatever has been done has been done. All that needs to be examined is whether the adjudication is lawful or not. So the appellate authority told me, he said, I have also been audit officer before promotion, so I know what to do, so you bring everything, I will verify it once again. What do you say to this? So we wrote a letter to the appellate authority and said, you have directed us to produce the books of accounts. You are not the adjudicating authority. Therefore, we respectfully refuse to produce the books of accounts. He was mad like anything. You said you will not submit books of accounts. You have given a letter that you are not giving books of accounts. This is my stand in the matter. What are you going to do about it? Correct, no? First ball, 4. Next ball, come on. What's the next ball? Promotion barta ide, aa time alli idella yake. So the appeal got allowed, entire demand set aside, because we did not venture to introduce new material at such a late stage of the proceedings. Reason why this is important, 2025 will see an explosion of notices. Because there's so much of data available. I saw a news report that said 1,13,000 show cause notices have been issued in 23-24. Out of that, 555 notices on classification. The rest are on something is not matching something. There is capacity to issue lakhs of notices. When there is a capacity to issue lakhs of notices, it's not that they are not going to exercise that capacity. It will be exercised to the fullest. It will be exercised to the fullest. So we will all receive notices. And I'm not even saying this for any other reason. I'm encouraging chartered accountants, doesn't matter what has been your area of practice, please extend your area of services to your own clients in the area of litigation, because unlike income tax, I'm very disappointed with the new bill, and I have no competence to make any more remarks than that. Experts are there, our own members who will take you through all the clauses. Income tax involves assessment of tax. GST involves adjudication of tax. You see, they are polar opposites. In an assessment, someone has to be satisfied with what you have done. In adjudication, someone needs to satisfy you with what they propose to do. The trouble is, we are readily satisfied. 2A is not matching 3B. Okay, sir, I will give reconciliation. I don't need 2 days, sir. 1 day. Why 1 day, sir? 1 night, sir. You send me at 5 o'clock, by morning I will give it to you, sir. You know me. I can reconcile debtors with creditors. What is 2A and 3B, sir? There's one taxpayer who got a notice in Hyderabad for 150 odd crores. Taxpayer was completely restless. He contacted his friend contacted his friend contacted. Somebody called me and said, somebody should go to Hyderabad tomorrow itself. 150 crores. Officers have said, 1 DC, 2 CTOs are going to land at the premises. Till they make the payment, they will not go back. He said, what's the issue? Is that company a very large company with complex transaction. No, he's a trader. He's a trader. Then how can he have, does he have this kind of turnover? He said, no, 150 crores of tax. He said, don't worry, it's a very simple case. Nobody needs to go. You just tell them that while preparing GSTR1, they've seen e-way bill and they're preparing GSTR1. Instead of taking the taxable value from e-way bill into the R1, they have taken the e-way bill number itself. That's 16 digit. You just check, I'm sure this is the problem. In half an hour, he called back. Exactly correct. Because we know how to reconcile debtors with creditors. How can a trading company have 150 crore liability? The reason I'm saying this is, now chartered account youngsters don't know accounts. Because everything is F7, F11 only. If you ask any entry, what is this? F7. What is entry? F11. At that time, there used to be manual books where it won't tally. So I got one set of books during my articleship days. Sir will remember this. Books of accounts were not matching. The trial balance difference was 2,000 rupees. You know what is trial balance difference? What is this? We are in the chat GPT co-pilot generation. What is this trial balance difference? So there was 2,000 rupees trial balance difference. So they gave me this book saying, do you want to figure out the difference in the trial? I said, 2,000? Sham tak ready ho jayega. So I checked everything. By evening, it was 27 lakhs debit balance. 2,000 was net. By evening, 27 lakhs debit balance. 30 days later, it was 13 lakhs credit balance difference. 1 month I spent, I could not find out. By the time due date arrived, I know how we reconciled and I can't tell you where the difference was. I didn't even tell the partner that day. So therefore, please bear in mind, that's the background we come from. So we know where the difference is. 150 crores must be e-way bill number. So therefore, friends, taxpayers are going to be completely anxious, stressed. They don't know what to do. Whatever notice comes gets minimum admission in casualty ward only. Everything they treat with the same degree of anxiety, and whenever orders are passed, they don't open their email ID. They will open it only when bank gets attached. So I want to bring to you an aspect to consider. Chartered accountants need to bring a sense of calm into a very anxious situation. Chartered accountants should not call you saying, Jatin, I got notice. ಏನು notice? ADT1. ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, open ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. You need to bring a sense of calm into a situation because anxious moments are going to come up every day. Anxious moments are going to come up every day. Clients will even call and tell you, officer said he's going to arrest. Did he use that word? Yes, many times. In Kannada, some other words also he used. I don't know Kannada, but I think it is not, he won't use it in his house. You understand? So please be very careful. When anxious phone calls arrive, do we know how to respond? Do we know how to respond? I went to Anand Diagnostic Lab to collect a report for someone. I found one chartered accountant sitting there. I said, sir, what happened? No, my client is applying for some insurance policy, so they said get blood test. Where is your client? He couldn't come, so I came. Why? All his tension is my tension. Same, BP will be same. He only sends sweet box. Same sugar level also. Walking also we do together. When I go, he will join me. When I don't go, he will also not go walking. This is the level of deep involvement we have in clients' businesses that we have lost objectivity to some extent. So I would bring to you to consider, can we bring that sense of calm, educate the client about the options, help them understand that this is not going to get resolved today. Settlement, that will not happen. It won't happen. No, officer is a good guy. I know him from bad days. He has assured me that it will get resolved. It's not possible because everything is available online. It's not possible for the road to trail off. You know, you read about this bridge that was inaugurated and then they found that some part of the bridge was not constructed. Some people used Google Maps and took off from the bridge and landed in the river. Thankfully, there was no water and they died. You understand? Heard about it? So therefore, please be very careful. Please be very careful. We need to know how to respond. I know chartered accountants who have transferred pre-deposit amount from their account. You know, chartered accountants, urgent, we have to upload, client, not, after giving OTP is not reachable. So this man has transferred the pre-deposit hoping to collect it tomorrow. 140 payment, TDS payment, all these chartered accountants have in receivables, not received. We need to maintain that objectivity. First, we need to understand questions about jurisdiction. Next, we need to understand the purpose of notice, purpose of reply. Fourth, we need to understand that we need objectivity. Last, what we need to bring to the conversation is that this is not going to get resolved. When you see that little finger is swollen like a tennis ball, you know iodex won't help. And if it is turned purple, then immediately you have to go, you don't have to wait till tomorrow morning, immediately you have to go to Jain hospital. So therefore, can we foresee where this will go and eventually how it will be resolved? I would sincerely request you to build these areas of, these are things that chartered accountants know, it's just that we don't use it as often because client does not want to litigate, settle market money. These sorts of things we have heard for long, but in GST it's not possible. So I will urge you to please see in 2025, this law is not going to be, it's going to be unrelenting notices. Lakhs and lakhs of notices will come. Yes, sir. Pre-deposit. Which is better, to pay 100% and not litigate, or pay 10% and litigate? I will leave it to your judgment as to what is the likely outcome. But when that little finger has turned purple, do you think you will get resolution immediately or not? That's the last aspect I'm bringing for your consultation. Can you foretell whether this is something that can be resolved right then and there, or it's going to take a long time? If you think that this is beyond the person's jurisdiction to allow relief, 7 lakhs was taken up in SMR by additional commissioner. So you can imagine what is the certainty of even that favorable outcome that you got. So therefore, I will leave it for you. I'm sure there can never be a one-size-fits-all rule that has to be followed. But to me, giving information is with prejudice. Giving information is with prejudice. So please be very mindful of the prejudice that is likely to result if, in spite of receiving the information, the demand is being confirmed. I'll give you one example. There's a taxpayer who had got a notice for 90 lakhs plus interest and penalty. He was encouraged to go for 128A scheme, amnesty. The notice was under 74, so he was told, you pay the principal and come back. I will drop the demand from 74 to 73 in adjudication. So he made arrangements, paid 90 lakhs, came back, submitted the paper, order was passed saying, assessee has accepted the allegation and discharged the principal, interest penalty outstanding, demand confirmed. When he asked the officer, why did you not drop it from 74 to 73? He said, I don't have power to do it. 75(2) that allows reading down the notice is there only for appellate authority and appellate tribunal, so I don't have power. Thank you for your kind cooperation. So then the next step was, what do I do with this? You have to file an appeal. So when you see the notice, if you have to get 75(2) relief, the entire demand is beyond limitation. Entire 90 lakhs is beyond limitation. So immediately he was told to go and file a refund claim for the 90 lakhs, and appeal will be filed agitating the demand. Please be very careful. How much do you think an officer is interested in the welfare of the taxpayer? That he is going to see the merit in what is going on, and he is going to drop the demand if he can get all the details. Notice is the culmination of investigation. Investigation ends with a notice. Investigation cannot continue after the notice. Audit ends with a notice. Audit cannot continue after the notice. After the notice, only determination of the allegation of the revenue in the notice remains. During adjudication, no new information can be introduced. 213-LT487, CCE Bangalore versus Brindavan Beverages, show cause notice lays down the framework of the list. Nobody can modify the show cause notice. 75-7 also lays down that you can't alter the framework of the dispute in the notice. There was a notice that was issued demanding output tax on other income. The description in the P&L said discount allowed by suppliers. It was accounted as other income, output tax was demanded, ex parte order. If you file reply, you damage the case. Ex parte order, filed appeal. In appeal, one of the grounds raised was if a discount has been admittedly allowed by a supplier, it only means that a supplier has not been paid this much. When a supplier has not been fully paid and ITC is availed, the demand ought to have been for reversal of credit and not demand for output tax. Appellate authority said, good point, I will drop the demand for output tax and confirm demand for reversal of credit. He said, it is not possible, you are altering the show cause notice, you don't have power to alter the show cause notice. Matte VAT alli ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. I thank Bangalore branch for giving me this opportunity and all of you for your participation. I wish you well that this 2025 is a year where we look at GST with a completely different light, because this is what it has been so far is nothing like how it's going to be hereafter. Thank you very much. See, as far as both center and state can initiate proceedings relating to investigation. When assessee is registered with state administration, only state audit can come in for audit under 65. But in your example, audit is going on, investigation is initiated by center. There is no overlap here. But what you can definitely do is you can encourage them to exchange information between them so that one of them will continue the proceeding. Investigation is related to only evasion of tax, but audit is all encompassing. I'll give a small example to highlight this. Assessee was already audited. On some observations, they had got a show cause notice. Investigation came up and said, we want to verify tax paid on development rights. So the intelligence department was informed saying that we are already audited for those years. Everything has been verified. Therefore, there is no occasion for you to start this investigation because all the information is available in contemporaneous records. They said, you please give us all the audit reports and the show cause notices. We gave them the audit report and show cause notices and told them this is a scope that they have carried out and completed. Wherever there are disputes, that is being agitated separately. So the intelligence department wrote a letter saying that transfer of development rights does not appear in the show cause notice or in the audit report. So most likely, this area has not been reviewed during audit. So therefore, you have to give us that information. So we wrote back to the audit officer saying that people in the central tax department think you guys don't know how to do audit. You have missed this area. Can you please clarify to them that you have verified and found nothing wrong in the tax compliances? Both of them have not got back. So therefore, you are right, when audit comes in, they have no restrictions on what they should or should not verify. They have a very wide scope to look into. So all that we will need to be careful about is whether you will provide that information. And ultimately, if you see 6.2b, whichever officer initiates the proceedings under central law also needs to conclude under state law and vice versa. So where is the reason for anyone in the department to think one wing is more capable of verifying certain things while another is not? There have been thousands of investigations that have ended without a demand, because one who had jurisdiction did not frame that issue, one who had understood the issue did not have jurisdiction to enter into that proceeding. So definitely you should object to this. Our institute's handbook also provides formats of how you should avail this relief that's available under 6.2, so that there is no simultaneous proceedings taking place. If the year is covered and the distinct person covered, then clearly they cannot keep coming in and do multiple proceedings. What notice? Under what section?
Same section by
Yavadappa?
60,
Yavadandi? 67. General notice. There is no general notice. There are 12 sections under which they can issue a show cause notice. Before show cause notice, underlying proceedings will be 61, 65 or 67. Now what? 67. 60.
both the departments have issued, and one department has given an order in that favor, so we have replied to the other department saying that it's already passed, okay, please drop it. They brought new grounds and then ordered.
See, all that, if it is for the same financial year and the issue is the same, I have not known a single instance in Bangalore or Karnataka where someone has tried to roughshod the other department. If the year is the same and the issue is the same, whoever comes first has occupied jurisdiction. No, if they have occupied field, nobody else can enter. No, but then in your facts, what has happened is, not only was the jurisdiction objected, but the conclusion of that proceeding was also disclosed. They are doing this investigation in this area for this year. That's all, no further information to be provided. But here is what they found, this is what they did not find, this is what they have omitted. Keep in mind that another investigation is permitted, because when someone concludes their investigation, even if it is with or without a finding, that ends the previous authorization. A new authorization can start again. So please be very careful when you inform that there is overlapping jurisdiction, whether the first department that exercised jurisdiction, they have concluded the proceeding or it is ongoing, is important. If it is ongoing, nobody else can enter. If it is concluded, someone else can come in and look at other issues or the same issue.
When notice was issued, both were ongoing, but meanwhile one officer passed an order. Showing this, we tried to close the other notice. Then later on he said, this is not the grounds, I am going for different grounds.
See, I feel we should not negotiate with the officer on jurisdiction. You don't have jurisdiction, respectfully I refuse to produce any further information. You understand? By attempting to convince them, we are still doing what is it called? Settlement of the issue. You can't do that. That should not be done. So please, I mean, if it's been going on, we must have been taught wrong. Going forward, if there is overlap of jurisdiction, the one who comes first will only have to continue. They can exchange information and intelligence with each other to see what else needs to be done, but the investigation cannot be overlapping. Center can come under 65 and state can come under 67, but who came in first? If state came in first, state can only verify that issue as a route. Can you get a 148 notice and tax audit also go on at the same time? Possible. This is a routine matter. This is a notice for a specific issue. So that is possible. But if it is the other way around, then one of them will have to stop. If audit has come in and center or state comes in under 67, whoever came in next, you tell them to transfer the information to audit, and audit can continue the exercise. Because you can't, you're one person, you can't be responding to two different officers. They need to organize themselves better. If we understand jurisdiction, we will know what question to ask. We need to understand jurisdiction, and I think that messaging is clear. All right, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Speaker, sir. You have dealt upon the GST departmental audit related issues, jurisdiction, and case laws. We will be starting the technical session, next technical session, after the tea break. Before that, we have a small felicitation function for our past, that I will do, for our past chairman, outgoing chairman, Sri Pramod R. Hegde. Please, I request Jatin sir, past chairmen of Bangalore branch, Venkatesh Babu as well as Kore, to join us on the dash. I have told him.
Lot of people say, agreement I don't have to file, but then tomorrow when you get into a mess, you will know. Get that agreement done. Very, very important. Then designated partners, we know that. Okay? Then you have flexibility. Unlike in the case of a private company which is very structured, or a limited company which is very structured, in LLP you got a lot of flexibilities. Now the question that people will come up is, whether it should be LLP or a private limited company. What's our answer? Yes? Depends on? So, how do we advise? If they are going to be really structured, if they really want a good brand image, if they are going to deal with multinationals, if their business is going to grow and they are experts at their business, then I will say get structured. It's good. But if they still are more interested in business and they may not be legally savvy, then in which case get them to do LLP, and then later on you can convert that into a private limited company. That's what you're supposed to do. Never advise them. One is people come on cost. Okay? So if they come on cost, please understand, there's no use putting them into private limited company. Tell them to run an LLP, which is little more flexible. See, people have, even if they have the capacity to pay, people will bargain on fees. You must know how to be so well ordained to be able to talk to them very clearly, to say, this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do. Are you interested? You please come. If you know you can build a relationship, you agree to them. It's good in the long run. If you feel that relationship cannot be built, please don't advise them. There is no use. That's my experience. They are not going to come with you for too long. On cost alone, they will drop you. They do not know what type of service you are giving to them. If they don't want to realize how the office runs, that's why I'm trying to tell, an office structure will offer all this confidence to your client. Slowly you have to build. It's not going to be easy. You have to pay them salaries. Their livelihoods are with you. You have to take care of them. Right? Even when there was COVID, we have never stopped the salaries for a large number of people. We suffered, but then we had a buffer. All of us believe in having a buffer because we don't know when the crisis will come. So that's a good practice, that you should build a buffer and tell people this money is meant for you. We don't know when things will come, there will be a crisis. So work on that. And when you are on Companies Act, I'll tell you it's a great practice. When I was starting my practice, a lot of people did not go on to get into company law practice, because not much was known. Nobody was able to share. They did not want to share information with us. But today, all information is available. But only thing is that you must be a good advisor. And you must try to help them. Help them in such a way that you are clear what you are supposed to do throughout the year. After some time, they get into a pattern and they are going to, I'll tell you what are the yearly compliances that you have to do, so that you don't have to worry. Do that and your work is done, your job is done. I think I have that. One-person company, I'm not getting into that registration process. Yeah, mandatory compliances for private limited companies, board meetings, not at the end of the year. Please don't get them into practice, because lot of issues which are material, or at least some of them let it happen during the year, but when you come to do the audit, there are some material aspects. Please get that covered in a board resolution, because we don't want to take the risk. Let the board take that risk. Business is theirs. That's very important issue. Annual general meeting, we all know. What is it meant for? Annual general meeting? Accounts, adoption of accounts, then dividend declaration, auditor appointment, once in a 5 years, but still every year we say, yeah, right, okay. Then if there are special matters, that also can be taken up. Directors, yes, yes. Those are the issues that you will look at in an annual general meeting. Then apart from that, you have extraordinary general meeting, correct? Now, what are the requirements for extraordinary general meeting? Yeah, maybe, okay, right. Then you will have board trying to bring up that issue. They will pass a resolution in the board meeting, and after that, it goes to the shareholders for their approval. There is something called an explanatory statement, right? That also you are going to do. That is one method. Is there any other method for having an extraordinary general meeting? That is okay. Whenever there is a related party transaction, you are going through a normal board meeting, right? Passing on to shareholders to bring it to their information, because every year they will have to say, is there any related party that is there? Agreed. Now, is there any other method of getting AGM done? Board doesn't take up. Yeah, what do the shareholders do? 10% of the shareholders will have to send a notice for conducting the shareholders meeting, right? It's not always from directors. It can also, shareholders can also try to bring up issues which are significant, which are material, which are affecting their rights, right? Otherwise, board of directors may sleep over and not do anything at all. Then statement of interest, yes, we have to do it. Directors identification, that's okay. Commencement of business, yeah. One requirement for a private limited company, commencement of business was not there at all. Please ensure that commencement of business returns are filed so that you can commence your business. Then event-based compliances are change in directors or auditors, correct? Once in 5 years, but if the auditor wants to resign in advance, what happens? Auditor wants to resign. Yeah? If it is casual vacancy, it's fine. No, he has resigned. He has resigned. It's not a casual vacancy. Casual vacancy is death, or that he is unable to take up, and therefore. But there can be other reasons also that he resigns. Can there be any other reason? Maybe fraud, mismanagement, top management, not all those issues, or not complying with lot of things. I don't want to be an auditor, right? For 100 reasons. Or I want to qualify my report. You must be bold enough to qualify your report. How many of us are bold? We are all worried. What is the worry? Oh, where will I lose this file? It is fetching so much. And most of us, let me tell you, honestly, we don't price our audit properly. Because there's somebody else going to do for a lesser value. That's a fear. No, if you're good, let me tell you, they will not even compare your price with somebody else. You have to be good. How do you make yourself feel good for the client? Yes? Knowledge. Mere knowledge also won't help you, because all of us are knowledgeable. Who is not knowledgeable here? We have all passed through CA exam. How do you build your relationship? You have to create the trust. How do you create the trust? I'm asking this question very, very clearly. You have to be serious. Talk to them correctly. Don't allow them, other than what is to be done correctly is what you have to address. And that requires great amount of guts. And you can always say, I'm not interested if this is how you want to deal with things. When I was here, somebody was talking to me. You took up that audit, what happened? My colleague is sitting here. We were friends, and we are friends for almost 34 years. He asked, what happened to that audit? I lost a little bit of money, but I just came out. We went to Dubai. Last 28 lakhs of rupees, we came out. Where principles are going to be sacrificed, I would prefer to lose money rather than lose principles, and that requires great amount of guts, great amount of hard work. And that requires, like you said, knowledge with so much of precision. When somebody calls you, the level at which you talk, the way that you talk is going to influence him. Remember that. His mind gets influenced by the authority with which you speak. If you have that authority, take it from me, people will not leave you. Under any circumstance, they will not leave you. You can fight, you can struggle, you can do what you want. They will not leave you. I'm telling you that. It's a fact. You have to leave them because principles are not there. I'm not interested. Can we do that? Institute doesn't have to tell us this. Institute has told enough. Anything there is lacking, I don't blame the institute. We have to blame ourselves for whatever we are doing in the society today. Unknowingly, some mistakes can happen. I'm not saying no, but knowingly we are doing mistakes. So take care. If I come to address you today, Companies Act is known, but the depth at which it should be known is what is important. And the number of sections when compared to 1956 has come down. Schedules have come down. Rules have come down. Still we don't want to study. Why? I'm not talking, because why? Because people just want to lift a phone call, take an opinion. I don't mind giving opinion. I'm easy. Because the more they ask me questions, the more I'm going to read and tell them, doesn't matter, they make money out of it, but my knowledge increases. I'm a ready person when I'm talking to people. I'm ready. At any point of time, I'll tell them, if this is all the information you want, take it over the telephone. But if you want a serious discussion, please come to office. And they will come. Because then I'll dialogue with them and try to tell them what is good, what is not good, what way we should proceed, how we should be proceeding, what type of services I'm going to give to him, what is my fees, why there is a premium. All these things will come to know, and there's a relationship built. After that, they will not ask you on any of these issues. So try to look at it, and therefore, if you're looking at company law, there are so many issues that we need to discuss. This little bit of time given to me is not sufficient, because everything, suppose you take up one activity, I can explain that activity right from beginning till the end with all the steps that we should take. It's not that I know everything readily, but then there's a rule book, there's a law book, there's a section, there's case laws. It will just come to you so easily because you like to understand the subject so well. You like it, you must have a passion. Please do that. Okay? Now, going further. So, many of these things are already known to you, but still, as a part of my this one, incorporation, DR12, notifying ROCF, new director appointment, and within 30 days of appointment. So prepare some of these. Let me also tell you one more thing. Whenever you do something, please document. Please document. Please document. Very, very important from 2 points of view. One is you know what you have discussed with the client. Many times people call you over the telephone and take an advice. What is the next step that you have to do? Whatever you have discussed with the client, put it on the mail. Put it on the mail. Please do it. Please do it. Please do it. That's very important. That has been our method of working. We have everything. Whenever, see, I'll tell you what happened. There is a trust, FCRA, lot of things went wrong. It has gone to Home Ministry. They want an explanation for audit qualifications. Now, the client wanted to blame us, but all the discussions that we have had, because the senior people never came on board when we were discussing, but subsequently all the mails and the type of answers that we have got is on record. Then they said, oh, we need to strengthen our systems. We are bad at that. It's actually a good institution. Honestly, it's a good institution. A lot of money has come in. They have done great amount of work. Now, when we were replying to Home Ministry, they were making mistakes again. I said, though I have qualified the report, please don't present it like this. It's going to be difficult. Please present it in a better way. We gave them how to address that. So these are some of the issues. Though, at the time of audit, I have no other choice but to go by my methods, my standards. But after that, if they require some help, help them to do it so well, professionally well. And that is the role of chartered accountants, of trying to support people. But at the time of audit, my hands are tied. That's how we express. Okay. Change in directors, DR12 again, notifying ROC of director changes, resignation, transfer within 30 days of change. Change in registered office, INC 22, notifying ROC of change in registered office within 30 days. See, time limit. Lot of people also don't keep time limit into consideration. That's also another issue. Then notices come. Why should the client suffer? Because he doesn't know. Had he known, have you informed? And then he flouts a rule. You are not answerable. But you have not even informed him. How does he know? So the question is, please keep him informed about all those things. When a client is there, the client has to be looked at as though it is our business. Give him an advice. After that advice, if he doesn't take care, then responsibility is his. Decrease in authorized share capital, SH7, notifying ROC of decrease in authorized share capital within 30 days. I did dialogue this with the company secretary who is in my office. I said, why should you ever decrease authorized capital at all? Increase I can understand. Now, what is it? Let me ask you this. Why this authorized capital at all, if I ask you that question?
All compliances are based on authorized capital. For example, company secretary.
Yeah, yeah. No, is it not paid up share capital? Authorized share capital is the extent to which you can raise your capital. Okay, your paid up share capital, all those things will be the criteria. Authorized share capital is a notional figure, right, for the purpose of raising resources. I raised it to 50 lakhs. Now, do you want to reduce it to 10 lakhs? I'm not going to get any benefit out of that. I don't get back my stamp charge or ROC fees from that. If it is increased, I have to pay that additional fee. So the question is, he is not able to answer me. Then he came out with one particular issue. He said, in the case of foreigners having shareholding, they don't want additional shares to be issued, and therefore they would like to bring down the authorized capital. Could be one of the factors. I am not able to, I did not digest that, and I said, yeah, okay. If they are shareholders of that type, they have always controlling the board to accept or not to accept a transfer or an allotment. As shareholders, they have all the right to do that. Why do you want to decrease the authorized capital? Anyway, it is there, I understand, but I just wanted to understand the rationale of that, and therefore I went into this dialogue. Then allotment of shares, pass 3, notifying ROC of allotment of shares, okay, within 30 days of allotment. My problem here, let me tell you. How many of us maintain the statutory register? We ignore. Lot of us ignore that. Why not? I am asking, when the statute is telling, then secretarial practices, standards are telling that. Why are we not looking into that? That's a problem. It's required, let's do it. So also with respect to fixed register, many of us in a CARO report, we say everything is normal. It is not normal, it is abnormal. I'm making that point very clear. No, we don't. Better would be to insist and get it done. They will do it. At least you must keep on insisting to get it done. Lot of things, we just want to rush, get the client to get into this practice of maintaining what is required under law. Otherwise, you have the right to qualify. How many of us are willing to qualify? We don't want to do that. And something goes wrong, then you will know the repercussions of that. Therefore, kindly ensure that your statutory compliances are in place. Now, how much more time have I got? Is it time up? Yeah, very good. I have that 15 minutes or I'm taking extra? Yeah, okay. Right? Then return of allotment, transfer of shares. These are all normal. I don't see much here. Yeah. Yeah. Which? Transfer of shares, notifying ROC of transfer of shares. What is the form then? SH4. SH4. Agreed. SH4. No, it will go at the time of filing annual return. Annual return. Yeah, yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, agreed. Then INC 20A, form of commencement of business, please do it, 180 days, even for private companies nowadays. Payment of stamp duty and share certificates, none of us do that. We don't even issue share certificates. Correct? Please do that, no. And stick the stamps that is required. Stamp duty has to be paid. Now, nobody is asking a question, but the law requires it. We don't know when things can go wrong. I will tell you when it will go wrong. When can it go wrong? When the matter goes to the court, then you will know. Some questions of this are going to be asked. We have one issue running like that. Okay, I am advising them. I am advising the advocates what needs to be done. It's complicated, but then I am standing with them and telling them this is how it is. Right, so some of these issues you take care, get it done. It's good practice to do what the law requires and do it. 2 board meetings for small companies, for startups, 4 for others. Don't restrict it to 2 and 4. Please do all that is required for the purpose of getting material things on record. Otherwise, as auditors, if you do the audit and if it is not certified by the board, if they get into a dispute, they'll ask how did the auditors certify when there was no resolution to this effect. Yeah, 1% companies, no need requirement to hold AGM. Disclosing of interest, very important. A declaration from DR8 that confirming that they are not disqualified. All these things because we have to report in our audit report, so take care of that. Then AOC 4 financial statements within 180 days from the end of the financial year. Then file MGT 7 annual return 180 days from the end of the financial year. Submit the company's income tax return, all that. DR 3 is with respect to by September 30 of the next financial year, you have to file DR 3 regarding directors KYC done every year. So these are some of the compliances that you will have to ensure. They will not remember. You have to go and prompt them, send mails, ask them to do it, help them to do it. Appoint an auditor through ADT 1 for 5 years. File E-form MSME half yearly required. Many of us are overlooking that. Please do that. File E-form DPT 3 return of deposits, including shareholders outstanding will form part of the return of deposits. 180 days from the financial year end. Yeah, correct. Yeah, I agree, yes. Because I did not have the time to look in. Yeah, those are the requirements, I agree with you. Yeah. Oh, there are many. Softwares are already there. I don't know what they're using in my office, but we are using a software. I can let you know, but time being I have no information because there's company secretary's wing which is taking care of that. Softwares are there. You will be able to get it. Okay? So, regarding ITR and all that, I don't want to get into that. Okay? Filing of statements of accounts, 30th October, filing of annual returns. Form 11. Producer company compliances, I will not get into that, not required. So, good practice is to get into the law, understand the law, and then try to do as per law. Lot of things people don't ask a question doesn't mean that we will not get into a problem later. So kindly have a look at that and then try to address issues, right? Now that requires a good office. That requires hard work. That requires building capacity. And there is a tendency for people to leave your office and then join elsewhere because they have got the little bit of expertise. And it's an ongoing process. You have no choice. We are seeing this for so many years. So what is our method that we have adopted is, people having half a day class will come, be with us, get to understand our values, and over a period of time they'll settle down. And what they deserve outside should be given in our office I think they'll continue to stay with us. All of us, we pay less to our assistants by giving a discount to the client. This is our problem. So kindly avoid this. Clients have got the capacity to pay. It comes because of your worth in the society and they're going to pay you. Pay well to your assistants. Office structure will work. That's my belief. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravi sir, for that lucid explanation of the detailed company law, as well as you have touched upon basic compliances, importance of spending quality time with the clients, Section 8 companies, producer company insights, due dates of filing, and you have also mentioned about good practice is the best practice, and people will take care of it. Yeah, may I call upon Chairman to please hand over gratitude of appreciation to the speaker. Thank you, members. We have a study circle meeting on coming the Wednesday. Please attend. Mr. Deepak Chopra will be taking it with regard to taxation. Thank you all. Thank you one and all.